We need to talk about Tobias Harris, what's going on with him this season. Look at his numbers in depth from the beginning of the season till now. Decide what went wrong, what has changed, and decide, is there a solution?
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
Run it back, Nation. What is good? Sixers Nation, what is good? Thanks for being here. If you are brand new, we talk Sixers every single day on this YouTube channel. If that interests you, if you're a Sixers sicko like myself, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Anybody returning, do me a favor, hit the like button, turn your notification bell on. Let's get down to business. So let's first look at, because this is why I'm perplexed, okay? Because it's not like Tobias Harris didn't fit and didn't have a role at certain points in this season, last season, before, whatever. Like the way we feel right now about how the team looks and the way I feel about Tobias Harris as a player, it feels like he doesn't fit right now. It feels like he's struggling to have a role on the team with the way the roster is right now. It just feels that way, right? But the beginning of the season, we were saying Nick Nurse unlocked Tobias Harris. We were saying, wow, he's getting more out of Tobias Harris than Doc Rivers ever did, and all these things. So let's not have short-term memory loss. Let's try to figure out what Tobias Harris was doing in the beginning of the season and how he can get back to that. There you are. First things first. Right now, Tobias Harris is shooting 31.8% from three. That is the worst percentage he's shot from three-point range since 2015 when he played for Orlando. I forgot that he played for Orlando. Tobias Harris's turnover ratio is 9.6. That is the highest it's been in his entire career. Tobias Harris's defensive rating is the worst it's been in his entire career at 114.3, which means the Sixers are giving up 114.3 points per 100 possessions when Tobias Harris is on the floor. That's basically an estimate per game. So basically the Sixers are giving up 114 points per game when Tobias Harris is on the floor. Also, his rebound percentage is the lowest it's been since 2017. But there is hope because Tobias Harris's offensive rating is 121.4. So there's something good there. There's something good there. Something going on. Now let's look at what was going on the beginning of this season that had Tobias Harris succeeding and had us all saying Nick Nurse has unlocked Tobias Harris. And maybe what has changed? All right, so I looked at his stats per game, advanced stats per game on 3 different websites, and I'm really trying to, form some kind of story and really try to figure out what happened. The only thing that really stands out to me game to game is how his usage percentage has gone up in the last 6 games. And when his usage percentage went up, his offensive rating absolutely tanked. His defensive rating has not been good the entire season, no matter what. 120 even against the Milwaukee Bucks. His usage percentage has gone up. His defensive rating has his offensive rating has gone down. And actually, right here, he has a 130 defensive rating. And that's the worst he was since the game against the Indiana Pacers. And if you look at his box plus minus, it was decent at the beginning of the season. 5.3 against the Bucks. There's a minus 0.4. That's basically 0. And then it got really bad right around here. And it looks like that's about the same around the same time. That his usage percentage started to hit the mid-20s. His box plus minus went -1, -2, -21, -13, -5, -7. So it really just looks like Tobias Harris's usage percentage has been higher for some reason. He's playing the most minutes per game that he's ever played in his career. And as his usage percentage has gone up, his offensive rating has gone into the basement. So it's pretty simple. Nick Nurse needs to accept the fact that Tobias Harris needs to play less minutes. He's not. I mean, when you're using him more, he's been absolutely worse. And what that tells me is what I've been saying for a couple of years now. There's a simple solution here, and it's a mentality thing from Tobias Harris, from us as fans, and from the coach. And the mentality thing is, we and the coach and everybody has to stop trying to make Tobias Harris a major scoring option. Once everybody realizes, Tobias included, I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe Nick Nurse will realize it. Tobias Harris is a role player. Tobias Harris is not a major scoring option on the team. We got to start there, okay? Signing the max contract was probably, as a basketball player, the worst thing Tobias Harris could have done. Great for his life, right? He's living a lavish lifestyle. He has $200 million. That's great. But as a basketball player, it's probably the worst thing that could have happened because it told him, he told himself then that he's a star player. And he's been trying to be a star player since then. And he's not a star player. He's a role player. It seems like Nick Nurse is still trying to play him like a star player with the usage percentage the way that it is in those last couple of games. Once we realize Tobias Harris is not a star player, he's just a role player, Tobias Harris can be used correctly. My guy DFJ Hoops was in the stream last night, and he said that, we were talking about how Tobias doesn't step up when Joel and Maxey are out or whatever. And I've said this before, we need to stop expecting that. He's not. He's not a scoring option. He's not a number 3. He's not a number 4. I remember people that are like, Tobias Harris is a great fourth option. You can't be mad at having him as a 4th. He's not an option at all. He's a role player. Again, in that Boston Celtics game without Joel and Maxey, did you say Nick Batum needs to step up and lead us here in the fourth quarter? Did you say Robert Covington needs to step up and lead us here in the fourth quarter? Did you say Kelly Oubre needs to step up here and lead us in the fourth quarter? No, you would never say that because those are role players. Once we all realize that that's what Tobias Harris is, then we can stop with this Tobias needs to lead us in the absence of whoever. It's not going to happen because Tobias Harris is a role player. So that's it. It's pretty simple. I'm not saying he needs to come off the bench or anything. I'm saying he needs to play less minutes. He needs to be used as a role player. And honestly, it starts within Tobias Harris. The fundamentals of the game is what he lacks right now. If your house has a weak foundation, what happens? The whole house collapses, right? Tobias Harris as a basketball player right now has a weak foundation. The game is built on effort, defense, and rebounding. Everything else comes around that. Everything else is the cherry on top. And for a player like Tobias Harris, if he accepts the fact that he's a role player, if he accepts the fact that he's a guy that needs to do all the little things to help the stars, then it should start with defense and rebounding. And as has been his issue since he's been here with the Sixers, he lacks straight up effort. If Tobias Harris can take a step back and Nick Nurse can take a step back and say, we need to get you playing like a high-level role player and not some kind of offensive leader, you need to focus on defense and rebounding. And if Tobias Harris could get in the lab, really look at the film, and say, wow, my defensive effort on that possession was terrible. My rebounding effort on that possession was terrible. And he starts doing the little things a little bit better, then the offensive game will come where it comes. It'll fit in where it fits in. But he needs to be treated like the role player that he is. I don't know if that's a fix or not. We'll see. I'm out of here.